Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Cardcraft. Thanks for joining me again today. Clusters, I love them. Envelopes, I love them. You should all know that by now. I'm combining the two, so we're doing clusters with a difference today. Mainly because I'm bringing you along. I always have clusters done up in different forms, sitting there ready to use on pages, whether they're just slightly decorated or whether they're fully decorated. I've got no journals here. The last of my journals I finished this week and they've gone off to market. And I thought, what am I going to show you guys with? So I did find one that was part done last year, year before, whenever else. It was sitting right at the back. So I've got one that's almost finished. That's an altered book that's still got a little... Thought I had more to go in it, but it's only finished, so I might have to finish it. So I might have some that are just done, some, So this sort of one, this is on a journaling card, and it's stuck onto the page. A little bit of book page, a bit of flower, a little bit of word, and it's on a journaling card. This one is actually on a paper clip so that I can tuck it onto the page. Some of them I will glue down here, glue onto the page and use them as a tuck spot. So I love having just bits and pieces like this. The other ones I tend to do are what we're going to do today, and which is what I needed to top up my container for today. And what they are, I've got none finished because the last went out with a journal yesterday. Yeah, gone off to market yesterday. So I started to sit down and get a pile more done. I thought I'll bring you along. So what these ones are, and I usually have this all sitting here ready to go. What these ones are little envelopes, of course, that the front will be a cluster that I can just tuck onto a page with a paper clip, or they can actually go in pockets. So depending on when I'm doing a journal, they're great for pages that you want as a journaling page, but maybe just want something up the top. So that's what these ones are, once they're glued together and all the rest. Nice and quick and easy. I have a template that I just draw around when I'm ready to make a pile of them again. And I usually make them out of, that's some craft cards or craft paper. It's actually out of this pad that I've got. It's 100 GSM. They're an A5 sheet. There's 100 sheets to a pack, and I use it for all sorts of bits and bobs. That one's just some brown paper that would have been in a box for packaging. So I love those because they're nice and thin, don't take up too much bulk in your journals. Some of them I do out of coffee dyed paper. Some of them are out of scraps of scrapbook paper or from the paper pads. When I've got half a sheet left, I will cut some out and leave them sitting there ready to do. So what I've done is recreated the template for you, so I will show you that towards the end so that you can pause and take measurements off. You can make these in any size. I like them in this size just for clusters. So they're about 2.5 inches square. They finish off being. Here's one that's folded, so round about 2.5 inches square finished. All they are is when you use your template, set your template down. My template is a little bit short in the bottom, so I tend to leave it up just a bit from the bottom. Sitting him down, I'll always sit one straight edge, and I just trace around it with a pencil. So much easier that way. So that's why my template is always done in cardstock, not paper, so that it's a little bit more sturdy. Some of my templates I'll cut out of acetate, things like that, so that I've got them all the time. You can see where my pencil runs around all of this. So cutting it out, I tend to use my knife and my ruler, and I'll just cut down my straight ones first. Nice and easy that way. You can see I've gone off my lines. That's fine. Pair of scissors, which is sitting here. Taking my angles. You can do this with your blade and your knife and your ruler as well if you want. You can do the whole thing with scissors. It's up to you with what works best for you. Now, let me take that up a little bit further. They literally do not take long to make as the little envelopes, and then it's a matter of decorating them. So you can see going around circles, because let's face it, circles are a pain. The bigger your scissors, the better it is to cut circles, she says, using small scissors. Leave your scissors in one spot in that hand, whether you're right or left-handed, and close your scissors and move your paper. It's the easiest way to do it. Okay. Rubber, take off your pencil lines if you've been a bit like me and they're all over the show. So I have a few still showing. Right. Now, bone scorer, scoring tool, you can do it with your ruler and just bend them over. I tend to like to use score tool. This is another envelope one, but I like it because it's just nice and small and it gives me lots of lines for scoring. So sitting it on so that this point and this point are halfway in your scoreboard if you're using a scoreboard. Okay, because that will then put your score right in the centre of there instead of over. So turning that bit round. So all you're doing is matching up these sections. So in the centre and up, and then one for your top flap. That's it. That's all there is to them. Moving that away, and I've just seen a height more pencil. Again, that's why I ink, because it covers all my pencil. So my valley, which is where I've scored, will become my hill. Okay, so do it that way. So always score on the right side and then fold it over. And I'll go to this scorer now just to push them all. I'll say I'll do that, but I have a tendency to just grab whatever's sitting there. So it might be this one, it might be the end of this one. Sometimes I use my little pushy tool for when I'm gluing. I'll use that as a scoring one as well. So it's literally just whatever I have sitting there. Okay. Now you can measure and mark. You can do all that to do your thumb hole. I will tend to put that in there. That's why I've got my thumb hole in the template. And then I can line, now that's just a 1/2 inch circle for these ones. For me, I don't want anything too big. And my last fold is my little flap. That's it. Okay, so there's my cluster, or what will be my cluster base. And we'll start decorating some of these. I also tend to, most times, not glue them together until I'm finished decorating it. 2 reasons. 1, it's easier if I'm doing it flat most of the time. I can see what I'm doing. I can lift things over. And 2, you know me, I stamp lots. So if I want to stamp on this actual base, it's easier when it's flat like so and not all glued together. That's me. I find that it's easier. So for this one, we'll just do some general bits. My first thing that I always do, and I'm sorry if you don't like watching this, is I'll ink around the edges. For me, it just gets my brain in action and I can see more of a finished thing, finished project. That's the other reason why I like to leave them undone, and because I like to do this bit in here. It gives it more of that, for me, that worn look. And we will need the bottom done, both sides. That one is now done. We'll just quickly whiz down there. And we'll quickly whiz down there. I like to do this bit. Now, I also like to decorate both sides quite often with these. But the back side, if I'm popping it on with a paper clip, I don't want too much height in here. So it might just have, like, hang on a moment. Well, we'll do it straight away. So we'll grab the box of scraps. Here's my container of scraps. Put you there. And in here, I'll have things like old book paper, old packaging paper, things like that. So for this sort of thing, on the back, I want just a little bit of book paper. So I'm just using my water brush just so that I can get a torn section around there. And that'll mean that it'll come out and it'll just start to pull out for you. Give you a slightly worn look on the edges. If you find you're in a hot area at the time, you might need to go over it twice with your water brush. So I just want something like that with a word on there. Actually, what I want is my tree branch in my archival, and that one, and I can just go around the edges just to give it a little bit of a worn look, a little lightly in there so it's not fully covered. Okay, something like that. I will remember to, I've got, just wipe that so that I don't sit anything else on it as we go. And I'll glue that one on with some glue. With some glue. Strange that, isn't it? I'll glue it on with some glue. Don't know what else I was going to use, but, you know, fairy magic. I could have glued it on with some fairy magic, couldn't I? So that's the back. And I'll put a word or something else flat on the back. On the front, let's have a look. So I'm liking this one at this stage with bits. Let's just have a look. What are we looking at size-wise? Yeah, up to about there. Down here, because it's just a scrap. Right. Some papers will go easier than others. I can't even see where that one was now. There we go. Right, round the corner. Down onto that one. Yep, liking that. Just need to change my colour because that's me. You don't have to change your colour. If you follow me, you'll know that most of mine are in these browns. Okay, so just a patchy brown as such. So I hope you all had a good Easter. Okay, that's like that. I don't know. Do you know how bad I am at music? I can never read whether my music is up the right way or not. So if it's wrong, I'm sorry. All I'm after is the actual look. and I can never tell whether my music sheet is up the right way or not. Right. In the bin, in the basket, and we'll go, I've got some florals here, florals small. We won't stamp this one. I find florals tend to go with most things in my journals. So now I like that sort of thing because it goes over it and I can still tuck a few things in. So let's go that. How quick was that one? Just how quick was it? I want to get rid of the white again in this. If you are not using a glass mat and you're inking this way, because especially when you've got things that you've fussy cut, these brushes will go into those areas, I find, so much easier than my actual blending tools. But I do it flat on my table. I've got a glass mat. If you don't have a glass mat, one of the silicone mats will also work. I find that, and because I'm using a permanent, I tended to move to my permanent ink for doing this because a lot of, here we go. There's a Tim Holtz one. Here's a glossy. Now, quite often I'll sand them down or put a light layer of gesso on them just to tone them down and get rid of that gloss, because I'm not a big gloss person. If you are, that's fine. But I'm not a big gloss person, and I find that going in with these, most times it'll wipe off and it takes quite a while to dry. The Distress inks are not that keen on the gloss. So my archival or any of your permanent inks, which is what these are, so these are a permanent ink, I find that I can put them on the gloss and they're fine. Right. I'm liking that now. Let's grab, because we always have to, where's my little piece? Sorry, we'll grab some cheesecloth. Okay. Slow down, Kylie. Deep breath. I'm on one of those, you know, oh, quick, got to get everything done days. Get rid of my hair that's out of there. Right, now I also find when I'm putting my cheesecloth on, I'll use double-sided tape first, just a little bit, and what I'll do is make a big mess, is I'll lift this up with it, now that I've worked out where I want it to go, lift this up and put some double-sided tape there, which will just add it to my floral. Give it a curve. And then when I glue it in, I can glue this as one piece. Does that make sense? Make sure that this is going. I lost my pin the other day. There it is. Hang on. I've got to get rid of the rust. Yep. Lost my pin the other day, so I just grabbed one, which has gone rusty. So we'll add another pin to that. And I know it's on my desk somewhere. I'm hoping it's on my desk and not on the floor, because the amount of times I come in and I'm working barefooted, but I haven't been able to find it, and that was a couple of days ago. But as I said, I was on a deadline to get these journals finished, so I really didn't give it that much of a look. Oh, there's some rust in that, Kylie. I didn't give it that much of a look. I just had one of those, a man look. Can I say that? So, yes. All right. I want that there like that. Give that a push. Make sure I didn't put any glue up there. I did there. We'll get rid of that one. I'm just using my rubber, which will take most of that away. If you've got one of those sticky rubbers, you know, the ones that'll take away your sticky. I think Xyron used to put them out. I don't even know if you can still get them. I'm liking that. I want something else on the top though. So do we go for a word? Let's go words. Let's go words already cut out, not stamped. Let's have a look at this one. Something small. Even something like that will work, won't it? Yeah, I like that colour better than that colour. That tends to disappear a little bit. I so need to sort my words out into big and small words. I'm just going to have a think about that one. Yeah, I've got... My words were a good idea, but it needs sorting and going into small words, large words, I'm thinking. Like I've had to do with my butterflies and all the rest, because I've got so many. Some are cut from scrapbook paper, some are stamped ones that I've stamped on scraps that I've still got through here. Some are from Tracy Fox with some of her bits and bobs, so that's too black. I really need to, because I just can't find them these days. That's that same one, isn't it? But it's a little bit smaller already. Yeah, this is just too messy. Way too messy, Kylie. Let's go that, actually. You know how you look at everything and you look at everything and you're going, yeah, and then all of a sudden something will jump out at you and you'll go, yep, that's it. All right, so that's this afternoon's job, I'm thinking. We might change that. I want that done in a darker so that it'll stand out a little bit. So I'm literally just going straight on the edge. I don't want to go into the actual colour of it. I'm just going on the edge as though it's framed. Like so. How's that? Right. Don't want to go right up to the top. In there like that. Sorry, is my hair in the way? Right, and on the back. What do I want to put on the back of that one? Because that way I can then put it onto a paper clip. It can come out. You've got secret journaling in there as well. Let's have a look at a plain stamp. I like that. I've got these just sitting on my desk from something else, so we might use those. I want that. I want that. I want a scrap of that. And we'll go pine cone, I think, which will be a nice dark one. And this time I'm using my Versaclear. Yes, I know, I use... See, this will be my third different brand or type of ink since I started. Don't want that in a circle. Let's just put it there. And we might punch it into a circle. Let's have a look at a circle punch. What have I got here? That'll work. That is a 1 1/4. So a 1 would probably work as well, wouldn't it? Might be a bit smaller for on there. The only 1 inch punch I've got, if I can get it out, is an old car one. So let's just have a look. Set it upside down. No, after all that's not going to fit anyway. I need the 1 1/4. Punch. Oh, it's getting mangy. Very much so. Alright, so I'm going to need to put something else on the side to cover up that mangy bit, aren't I? Again, I'm just going on the edge just to get rid of the core colour because it's coffee dyed. Alright. I'll sit you up here. I'm going to need something in here now, aren't I? What about a label? Little label, little add-on. I've got, not those, because they're new ones, and I don't have them actually put away with everything. Oh, I've got those that I stamped the other day, and I've got quite a few of these. There's one, pre-stamped. Love this little stamp. So if I put it down a little bit, yes, it's still a bit mangy up here, but it's getting rid of that manginess. Yep, just stick it on, Kylie. And then we can stick this one down, and we've actually finished one. These are the type of clusters that I like. So they've got little layers, sometimes some fabric, sometimes some lace. But just, and when they're on the little pockets, envelopes, you know what I mean? It gives you a multitude of uses. And because the back is still, just looking for that, because the back is still flat, I can still just put it on with paper clip. It's all right, thinking. I'm already on to my next one, you see, in my mind. I'm already on to my next one. So we're just going to go down here. You could use double-sided tape or your glue for your sides, but do both sides together at the one time. Then you can just fold up this piece like so. Give him a push. All right, look at that. If you like, we can pop something on there as well. So what do we put on there? Let's stamp it, now that I've done that. Original. Like that. What do you reckon? Now, what do I do with that? There. Yes, that's going to fit on that one. So, back with the pine cone again so that it matches the back of the little pocket. Hoping that we're straight. And I like this one because it'll sit into that dip. Look at that. How easy was that? So that's one, done. And we'll move on to the next one. So we'll get rid of that 1-inch circle punch. So that one was done on what? On the same thing. Let's pick something different. Or was it done on this? No. Let's go with the coffee dyed one now. Now I've already scored these ones because, as I said, I was in the process of getting them all ready when I thought, no, we'll turn on the camera and do a pile of them in case you need to make some clusters as well or something a little bit different to go into your journals. So there's that one. Fold it over. All right. Down, and we'll do this one a little bit different. And I'm thinking I want a flower on the front of this one. I've been cleaning. Oh, my Lord. You know when you clean your room out? I sound like a teenager, and you should see my teenage daughter's room. I can't really call them teenagers anymore. They're 20 this year. But, oh, my word. Oh, I need to punch a hole in that one. But when I clean my craft room out, or an area, or I find a drawer that I haven't touched for a while, and you'll find all these bits and bobs that you've put away or you've purchased at some stage and tucked them into one of those safe spots. Don't lie, we've all done it. Now laugh, because we've all done it. So we tend to do that, and then all of a sudden you'll come across them and go, I can use them. And so you put them on your desk. And if you're like me, most of us are, 4 weeks later, they're still sitting on our desk. So I'm going to use some of those because I'll show you. There's a couple of those. And there's 4 or 5 of these. So either of these are going to work on those. So, and I like both of them, but I've got more of these, so we're definitely going to use these ones. So what I want this time is something as a background as well. So I'm back in the box of my container of scraps, because that's what I like to do my clusters out of. And so I'll sit there and I'll move that over there, my big scissors. So, and you can see it tends to get overwhelming, and the majority of it is coffee dyed paper and book paper, or some stamped book paper. Not much else. So let's have a look at some. See, now that's a piece of scrapbook paper. That's quite nice. I like that. All right. So if I sit that there, make a mark about there, trim that bit off, find my little ruler. Where was my mark? Is it that one? Yes, it is that one. All right, we'll just sit that there, which kind of gets rid of a little bit of scrap, but now it means that this one is going to go back in the box or the basket. Right, back into the basket. Sorry, I like this. Like that up there. But I'm thinking I might put a specimen label or something like that down here. A field note label. I've got labels that are printed. I've got labels that are pre-cut out. And I've got label stamps. So between those, I should be able to find something, shouldn't I? So, and some of these are from, that one I think is Tim Holtz one. They're 49 and Market. They just, you are too, you're too long, too big. Oh, I feel like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. That's a good size, but I don't like the red. Wonder if I can, let's just bear with me and we'll see if we can change that red and dull that red down. So I'll get rid of the white to start with, and I've just scrubbed that along to make this the same sort of thing as that. Now this is gathered twigs, and I'm just going to run it along that red, just to try and dull the red down. It's just that it's not a colour that I use, and for me it's not going to work in my type of journals or with the other embellishments that I have. So doesn't mean that, you know, nobody uses red. Lots of people use red, hence why there's red ones always in the pack. And I might use red ones during Christmases, but, you know, for the rest of the time, I tend not to. Just bear with me. What I'm doing is taking my ink pad directly to that now to give it a darker. See how I've got an even darker one? Oh, yep, got a really dark one now. All I'm trying to do is take the eye away from the red. All right, if I stamp a number in that, in Pinecone, so I want a number in a stamp. Sorry, they're all in front of me, you see. Right, so numbers. I've got Tim Holtz numbers, I've got Witchcraft Do You Do numbers, and I've got some other ones that have come from stamp sets from close to my heart. And on their stamp sets, they have their code as a stamp. They're great. They make more. So, you know, use everything. So what I want is something that's going to fit in that. Move you there. Move you back over there where you belong. And let's find one that'll fit in here. I think this one, which is a Witchcraft Do You Do, that fits in there beautifully. So, I will quite often do ones like this when I go to crop days or things like that, when I'm with friends, so that I don't have to take a full journal and I can just take bits and pieces and I can just sit there and make clusters or tags or something like that when you're away for the day. And yeah, you'd be surprised then what you can make with just the things that you've taken, because everything is not sitting in front of you. You don't run that risk of sitting there forever just looking at everything and not being able to work out. There, look at that. See, and that was, hang on a moment, I'll pull another one out. Oh, the time's going so quick. That's what it was. So if I lift that up, can you see that? That's what it was. So what I've done is grunged it right down to match in with this one. Put that one away before I get confused. We'll adhere this one on. A little bit of glue. This was, yeah, sure. I can't do mass makes because I talk too much. All right. So you're going to sit in there with an even border all the way around because I've got a nice straight edge. Kind of an even border all the way around. Just give that a push. This one's going to sit in here. This one's going to go up there. Now, with these ones, I use my fabric glue. So, Fabri-Tac, I haven't seen it in Australia. I use the Hilma fabric glue. So, it takes a bit with these flowers because they're so, see how they're so raised in there? Come on. Hot glue gun will work as well. Oh, I'll just hang on to that one for a little while it adheres. While I'm waiting, I'll put some glue on that one. See, look at that, multi-talented. Glue, hold, and stick all in the one time. I've got, there we go, just to give that a push. See, that's moving. Come on. I actually used these the other day because they were sitting on my desk, and I used them to adhere to the spine of a journal, and they looked a treat. But it did take a while to stick down, I found. All right. Ha! I'm going this way. Did nobody notice that? All right, so this one's going that way. Good thing I hadn't done anything to the back, isn't it? We're just going to stick you down now. Oh, that was a bit rude. Fancy it doing that on me. Well, Kylie. Give that a push. Make sure that's all down. And we're going that way, okay? So this one will actually adhere into your page like so. All right? Or it can still go into a little tuck pocket like that. But yeah, doesn't all have to be the same, does it? No. No, no, no. Right, let's grab another one. Let's grab this one out of a little bit of scrapbook paper that we had sitting around. So I'll just, this one hasn't been, and we'll finish up, I reckon, after that. What have I done? Oh no, 41 minutes. I've got time to do this one. Woohoo. I want that. I want that. Once again. There we go. This one I haven't even taken the pencil marks off. I've just done and cut and popped it in the pile. Right. They're folded. I'll sit you just there. And I needed to take the pencil mark. Where'd I see it? There. Oh, it's going to be... No, it's not. It's on the outside. Right. Oh, yes. I need to show you that template too, don't I? Right, I'll just pop my thumb notch in there, like so. I'm not going to ink this one, but before I go any further, I am going to show you that template. Ah, here it is. I've put my scrap basket on it. Right, so, which way is better for you? That way? So, as I said, your final result is a 2.5 inch square. So, you're going to measure up 2.5 inches, up another 2.5 inches, so 5 inches altogether. 2.5 inches across from these ones. These are just whatever you want your seam allowance to be. So, I think mine are about 1/2 inch. Yep. Okay. My little flap at the top is 1.25 inches from this line, okay? And then it's just getting anything that you've got that is round, that is in those spots that are going to go up. So I tend to pick up jars, or I'll tend to pick up ovals, something that I've got sitting around to do my initial one. I will have my markings here and here, and my marking there for is where I want to go, and I can either freehand draw it. If you freehand draw it onto something else, let's, here we go. All right, so, just quickly. So, let's say this is our 2.5 inch down here. All right, that's that line there where it comes off here and comes off here. All right, so half of 2.5 inches is 1 1/4. Yes. Right. So from that, we're going to go up 1 1/4. I just want to make sure that this is straight first because I've just drawn this straight on here. See, and I'm not. Back to your grid. Right. So this is my 1 1/4 inch line. Just going to sit there so that I can make an actual area. We're going there and there. Slightly. So we're going to go up 1 1/4 from there, which is about there. Now, I want to go from this side to this bit. You can freehand draw right? Just draw one side on a piece of scrap, like so. Then to the centre point, to your centre point, fold that over. Okay, sit your ruler there so that you can fold it. Fold that over. And give yourself that template. Doesn't have to be done with cardstock, it can be done with paper. I tend to find most of my curves are usually done freehand anyway, because I can never find just the right one that I want. Okay, there's your flap. If you don't want it so wide, don't do it so wide. Take it out. Okay, and then you've got your curve there for your flap. Make sense? And that's easy, and that way you know that it's mirror imaged on itself. So, back down here. I always draw in my little thumb hole as well, just so that I know, so that I remember what I'm doing with my cutout, which is wherever it is. You saw I had a template here earlier. I did have a template for all of these, because I keep it with them. Please don't tell me I've lost it. No, there it is, sitting under my stamps. All right, so there's mine. I don't, of course, draw in all my... I just know that these are my folded spots. So your dashed areas are your scored areas. These are all the straight lines. The solid lines are your cut areas. I'll move my hand away from it. Pause it, draw it, take a screenshot of it if you're on your phone, whatever. But I hope that helps. And you'll find you can use these for so many little things, not just your clusters. There, he's stuck on there now. So we'll do this one. Now, if you want, you can also put a little slot in here and tuck that in. So let's do that with this one. So, and it's a bit harder when they're a very patterned paper. Again, you don't want to have it stuck together when you do it. So if I use my grid again, and let's say I want my tuck bit to be there and there. So I need to go past my little doobie flap, past and past, and I should have some little dots on there. Can we see them? There's one, there's one. Right, take it from dot to dot, dot to dot, because we're just going to change this one up a little bit. Take that from that dot to that dot. Make sure you go all the way to your dots. so that now we have a slit in there. What you will need to do is make these a little bit smaller, because this line is past, okay? And you don't want to have to, so this is going to be here, that's going to glue to there, and what's happening is that that's on there. So we're going to make these guys just a little bit smaller. I'm going to actually see where I'm going with that. So if I've given myself back to about 1/8 of an inch, it's still going to work. But it'll mean it'll come into here. And I won't be over this slot. So do the same on your other side. You've got that much. You could do that with your scissors, so that when this one is now adhered down, and now he tucks in. So it's the same, exactly the same thing, but you will need to make these guys a little bit smaller. So we'll stick this one down to start with, just so that you can see where we're going. Come on. I've got to go find that pin, don't I? One down there. A little bit harder to get glue on because your edges are smaller, but just take your time with it. There you go. I've just gone up. Give him a good push. Right, and now what you've got is a little closure in it. So let's put something on the front of this one. I've got, what have I got? Let's have a look. Oh, I've got 8 minutes. I reckon I can decorate this if I shut up. Right, so we want, now this is a stamp that's an actual stamp where I've stamped it out for something else. So we'll just use this. And I'll just right. I'm not getting rid of the white. I'm just edging. I'm going to keep the white there. How's that? This one, as I said, is completely different, apart from the fact that it's going to have a stamped thing on it. So you've still got, I'm not going to put anything on the back, so that we've still got this lovely paper. Now this is only copy paper, so it's very light, but what I want to do is just tear it up a bit. This is just an edge distresser. This is an old one. I don't think you can find them like this anymore. Tim Holtz has one in the Ranger range, and his are round and have numerous little blades in them. If you can't, they're nice and easy to use, and same with this. If you can't find any, you can use your scissors, but please be careful. So when you're using your scissors, open up your scissors and you'll go down like that. Okay, it doesn't give quite the same effect, but you can get away with it. So all I'm doing is lightly going backwards and forwards, making lots of fluff. Don't wear tracky bums or woolly jumpers while you're doing this. Speaking from experience. Right, so we're just going to grunge it right up. So that now what we've got is that. So it's older again. And because it's now nice and old, back to the stamps. And what I'd like to do is pop some coffee dyed stamps on there, if you know what I mean. So these sorts of things. Tuck that back in there. These would have to be my most used stamps. So I just want a piece of scrap under it, just so that I'm not stamping onto my board. And this one, and of course the ring. So we'll grab Another one of these. And we'll actually stamp it in coffee archival. So it must be coffee time because I'm talking lots of coffee. So all I'm doing is grunging it up again. Just putting some rings in there. And I want this one. And I'm going to turn him that way. Over that torn. This one's getting so old. There we go. Like that. One for good luck, you know. Just one for good luck. Right. Whoops. Doesn't quite go in. Get rid of that one and that one. Slip them in there. And now, what I've got, up the right way, is that. So I'm going to use my glue stick for this one now. No, I'm not, because I want those to sit up. So I'm just going to roll that. I'm just going to, you know, make it look really grunge. So I'm not going to use my glue stick because I want that to stay up. So we'll go back into our wet white glue. And I can work out around everything that I want. Oh, look at that, it's lost the rust. All right. And like so. I'm not using my full pushy thing because I want those other areas to sit up. So I'm really just pushing into the centre. Right. Okay, so what do we want on the front of that? We want something. I want something with a bit of oomph. And let's have a look. Little bit of lace. How can I do something with no lace? So, what do I want? Some leaves. Let's just go to the leaf container. Gosh, I've got a mess here, which is standard for me, sorry. Now, I should have some vellamy. I don't like the vellamy ones, and I'm not going to stamp a leaf. Let's just have a look. That's all it needs. Leaves go there. I'd still like to put a word on this. I tend to like to put words on most things. Words or numbers just tend to finish them off for me. That's just a tad bit deaded, Kylie. There we go. Right, so if you're going to sit up there, I want you down in there like that. No, done it again. Oh, and it's stuck now. It's not going anywhere. Right, so a little bit of glue on this one. And then, as it's such a beautiful, fine, sunny day, I'm going to spend the rest of my afternoon sitting at my desk making more of them. But I can look through the window at all the sun, can't I? And I think that's what makes it lovely. I've got windows on that side and I've got the laundry on that side with the big glass sliding door that I can look out of. And there's nothing like it. And I've got the house to myself. Everybody's out. My husband's gone down to work to play in his man cave down there. Our son's at work. Daughter is at her boyfriend, so I don't know what they're doing. They could be home back here at any stage, or I won't see them until one of them, I think, well, boyfriend's got work tomorrow night, so I might not see them until then. So I love having the house to myself. There we go. How's that one? So not much because I've been talking so much. We've got that one and that one and that one. So I've bent that one, haven't I? Let's just put you back down. So 3 little clusters come envelopes, lots of mess, couple of flowers used up, just lots of mess really, isn't it? Let's do up the lids to a few of these glues. I hope you've enjoyed these ones. I hope it'll make you look at your clusters a little bit differently. Sometimes I'll stitch with them as well, and again, that's why I don't like to stick them together, but I'm not bringing you over to the sewing machine. As I said, I will do clusters and I will fill a little container of clusters so that when I'm doing a journal and I'm back to doing all my journal cards and all the rest to go into my finished journal, my pockets will be there, but I haven't actually decorated as such. I will then go into my cluster stash and start popping into pages. So I hope you've enjoyed these ones. They are really fun to make. They're a great way to pick through your odds and sods that you've got left sitting around. Little bits of scrap, odd flowers that have been purchased for something that are then not being used, odd leaves, odd words, you know. Have a look at what you've got. Play around. Clusters are a great way for using up your bits and pieces. Once again, thank you guys. If you have liked this, please give me a thumbs up. I'm much appreciated. If you're enjoying everything I'm doing, please subscribe if you haven't already. For those of you that have, thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.